Hello there, this is Aiden from InPlay. Today I'm going to be covering the score wave feature in the NanoBeacon Config Tool. So when you first open up the tool, you will see this window appear. And if you navigate over to the left to these different tabs under the application settings, you can see the square wave feature. So what this feature does is once you've enabled it, it allows you to pick a GPIO pin here. Then it allows you to pick what kind of output you want to appear on that pin. It could either be a square wave or it could be a level signal. And then it allows you to do some options like having it get triggered by a advertising set condition, for example. So to elaborate a little bit, let's go to the output pin section here. You have three options available. When you're using the NanoBeacon Config Tool with the development kit, your package will be the QFN18, which means you'll have GPIO 2 and 3 available. GPIO 0 is an option here, but for the development kit, this happens to be used for the UART. So I would recommend testing with 2 or 3 here. So I'll just pick GPIO 2 here. I'm going to cover output type of level for now. And the output level, I can either pick a high signal or a low signal. So let's just take a second to talk about what kind of application this would be for. So imagine you have some sort of situation where you want a external, say, sensor connected to the IN100, and then when you press a button that triggers an advertising set, one of the GPIOs triggers the external sensor and says, okay, now you can start measuring, right? It's sort of like activation purpose. You have another thing where it could be attached to an LED. So it could say it's activated and now the LED is going to be turned on by the high level output here. Or similarly, the score wave could also be used for that situation to say blink an LED. Let's say a temperature sensor or an accelerometer has some thresholds. So say if it's too hot, too cold, if there's too much motion on the accelerometer, you want an LED to blink so somebody nearby could see, okay, something's gone wrong. This has violated one of the thresholds that we're monitoring for. Okay, I'm also going to be talked about this triggered by advertising set. So if you have this option enabled, this output is only going to output when the advertising set, which you can choose here, advertising sets 1 through 3, is also triggered. So you could say I have a button connected to one of the GPIOs that triggers advertising set 1, or I have a sensor connected to the IN100, which will trigger advertising set 2, or 3, for example, or 1. When a certain value violates a threshold that I've set. So if you're wondering about how to set those thresholds and how to set a triggered advertising set here, that is covered in other YouTube videos. So I'm just going to be very brief here. Let's just see we have a triggered advertising set. I click that option. Then I click, I want high trigger threshold number 3. So on trigger value 3. Back to the square wave. And now what this is enabled when advertising set 1 is triggered by that sensor information, it will now output a square wave of a frequency of 4 kilohertz out. Likewise, if I do level, I could have it, pull something high, output a high level when it's triggered by that sensor, or I could have it say pull something low when it's triggered by that sensor. So imagine, blinking LEDs communicating with some sort of external microcontroller or other external device, some sort of sensor. So a lot of different applications for this. This auto clear option will make it so that the blinking or the output level, for example, low or high, will stop after the advertising set has stopped advertising. So say if you press a button to activate the IN100 and you have it blink to confirm that it's activated without having to sniff the BLE packet, you don't want it to keep blinking forever, right? You only want it to blink for a little bit. So this will allow it to clear its own condition afterwards. But you might not want this option if, say, you have a threshold violation, it gets too hot, and then you want the LED to keep blinking until someone comes and manually resets it. You wouldn't want this auto clear here. Okay, so that covers the square wave features for the IN100. If you have any more questions about this or any other features in the NanoBeacon Config Tool, go ahead, reach out to our support line, and we'd be happy to help you out with whatever you need. Thank you.